Hello, and welcome back once again with Renegade Master, Dreadlock Caster and RedRipz, and we're here today for another episode of CasualCraft. Back after being ill for a few days, after my little festival experience there. It was basically I just had the flu for the past weekend, so that's been really not very fun whatsoever, I'll be honest. Now, you might notice the aspect ratios are a bit different. I've got full 1080p on the go now, so hopefully it should look pretty fucking good since I went and bought a new monitor for it especially, and we'll see how that goes. So it's a bit of a special edition today. I'm going to have a four-way free-for-all cast here on Star Station. Now this is all sort of Silver, Gold League players, so it should be relatively interesting to watch. We'll hope and see. Now in the bottom left-hand corner we have the red Protoss player, Kunak. Yeah, here he goes, here with his nice early power on down. Top left-hand corner. Picture. Yeah, purple Zerg player up here. And he's got the very early pool actually, that's a 10 pool. So we will be seeing some sort of early pressure out of this guy. And in the top right hand corner we have the overlord coming out already here for copyright. Spelling it differently, but it's all good. Here he is, copyright in the top right hand corner. And finally, in the bottom right hand corner, my good friend Biffhunter here, and he's the guy that submitted the game, so I'd imagine he does pretty well, because you're not going to submit a game if you do shit, are you? Let's face it. So yeah, here we go once again on Star Station with a 4-player free-for-all. We've got scouts coming out from all players now. Well, I say from all players. We've got one coming out from Biffhunter here. We've got the drone moving out here at the top right now for copyright. Now he's going to go straight for the hatchery there. No scouting needed for him necessary whatsoever. Bottom left-hand corner we've got Kunak down with his gateway here. So this is all relatively standard stuff. No sort of wall off there despite the multi-Zerg presence. So he's going to be in a little bit of trouble there if anything too early comes in here from the top left corner out of picture here. He's straight away getting his gas down now as well. So we'll be seeing Zergling speed out of this guy before too long. He's still sat on this many things, so we're still getting still sat on this many drones. He's going straight for the lings now, and they'll be moving out across the map before too long, I would imagine, which is all very exciting. Now, our other Zerg players gone for a much more macro build. We won't be seeing any early pressure out of this guy here, as he's got his first base down now already. Well, finishing up in the next 30 seconds or so, I think. No, sorry, next 50 seconds. And then we've got the spawning pool coming out of him as well. He's all looking very nice, very macro orientated. Meanwhile, we're seeing Kunak's little Protossy scout unit here being pushed away by these picture Zerglings here for this player now, and they'll be chasing back up to this base here at the top right of copyright here. So we'll be seeing some pressure here on this expansion here for copyright, which is really unfortunate and annoying for him because he doesn't have anything at all to defend it with. He doesn't have a queen up, he doesn't have anything. His spawning pool's only just finished, not looking in a good spot here. So unless he pulls some drones, he's going to struggle to defend this base. As it's is he going to let it finish? No, he's not going to let it finish. He's going to cancel this. That's all very nice. Now in bottom right corner for Biffhunter here, we've got 7x core coming down here behind a gateway. So and also a second assimilator here. So I would have initially said we might see some gateway pressure out here, but we're not seeing any expansion, but he might be going to slightly later tech. We might just have to wait and see if he bothers getting any tech out behind this now that he's got the second extractor up here, because he's wanting a lot of gas for some reason there. So we'll see what happens there. Meanwhile, the lings have moved away from the top right base of our friend up here, copyright, and they'll be moving down to the bottom left for some more pressure on this Protoss now. And this Protoss here in the bottom left here, Kunak, is actually in a pretty bad position at the moment. He doesn't really have very much. He's got a second base just finishing up, so he's not even going to get a chance to cancel that if he doesn't build any units to defend against this massive amount of lings that's heading down the map here now to come in. And as they come in there, he's going to have to start reacting to this as his warp gate's barely even started. He's building his first zealot now, which is actually chrono boosting out now. Glad he saved those chrono boosts for that exact reason. So he's going to really struggle to defend this at this stage, because that's a lot of lings coming down there now as the probes are pulled, and we will be seeing a valiant defence here out of Kunak now, so we'll have to see which way this battle could go as the probes are going to engage here. Now he needs to be careful, see if he can try and micro back some of them. He's actually trying to go for a drill of some sort, but he's instead just sort of leading the lings around as they do continue to attack the Nexus, and we'll be seeing many of the lings will be dying here. Many of the probes will also go as well as the lings stop attacking the Nexus and moved on to the few probes that are down here now. We're seeing more and more lings streaming in though from pitch here, so this is looking really bad for the second base of Kunak here, as the Zealot will eventually be falling. The last of his probes are going as well, and does look like the second Nexus will be falling here, as we don't really have anything else out here for Kunak apart from the Mothership Core is now finished up, which should be able to finish clearing this up, but I'm not sure if he's going to be able to save the Nexus there. It's looking really unlikely, and no, he's given up completely on that, so he's just going to let that fall. Meanwhile, the lings will be pulling away for pitcher here and heading across to another base there. Now, we've actually seen pitcher's base totally cleared out here now. I'm guessing that was a bit of ling pressure there player while that was going on in the background out of copyright here. It looks like the last of his lings have just been chased off there. So I think, in fact, Pitcher might have seen some, no, not too serious damage. He's still got 9 drones out, so that shouldn't be too bad. But he does need to be careful about any further pressure. So with speed finishing up for our player here now, Pitcher, he's going to be moving up to the top right-hand corner of the map to go and pressure copyright here once again with his massive amount of lings. This queen will be falling, this hatchery will be falling, these 2 spines aren't going to be finishing anytime soon. And this is actually looking absolutely atrocious here for the 2 players here at the top right and the bottom left corner of the map here. It's really not all that much fun for these 2 players now, as his queens will be coming down to help try and defend this, but we're not even going to get the spine crawlers out. I think we're going to have to let the hatchery fall here. There's really absolutely nothing we can do, and bring the queen down is only going to let it get caught out, exactly as has happened there. So that's not really very good there for copyright here, as he's failing to enjoy the game particularly now. He's getting a spine crawler down his main. He's got double gas in for some reason. I'm not sure what he's mining so much gas for. I'd imagine he was probably going to be trying to get out some banelings or something, or perhaps rushing for... No, he's not rushing for layer or anything weird like that, so no, he's not really doing anything. But actually, oddly enough, we are going to be seeing Pitcher pull back here with everything. So as we've got the 4 warp gates down now for Biffhunter in the bottom right-hand corner, we've also got the Twilight Council down with the charge coming out. So we're going to get some charge lots out, and this forge here for the 1-1 upgrades, which should be seen before too long. So we're going to see a very zealot-focused army here. Exactly what you need against a bunch of lings. To get in there, punch them in the face, they'll all die. It's all very nice. Now we're seeing some pressure out of copyright here, actually, straight onto Pitcher's top left-hand corner base here. Now this could be interesting. You can see what you can do. See if you can take out the spawning pool. Looks like we're going to be getting rid of the queen first, which is a much better move there. Although we'll have to concentrate down in the buildings just after that. We could do with some more lings up here. Now we go to just as the Pitcher's lings come back here, and they will be chasing away not copyright's lings, so they're not going to be doing too much more there now. Meanwhile, we should be seeing a second come down here anytime soon out of copyright. I'd hope he's not actually mining that quite as much as I'd hoped, as he's put everything into lings there, which is really unfortunate for him. Meanwhile, our Biffhunter's army will be pulling back at the bottom. He's got ground weapons 1 on the way. Charge is nearly done. He's looking quite nice, really. And the Dark Shrine coming out, so we'll be seeing some sort of Dark Templar and Charge lot mix going on here. It's all very good against lings, really, especially as both the Zerg players will struggle to get vision, since neither of them actually yet have any form of layer on the way, although they are really stacking up on the Vespene here. I'm kind of interested in where they're going with this here, as we're getting the second base now coming down out of Pitcher in the top left-hand corner of the map. Meanwhile, Kunak in the bottom left here, he's going to be chrono boosting out some probes, getting his ship together at last now. We're getting the Twilight Council out behind all this various random tech. Nothing really in the way of an extra gateway or anything though, so it doesn't like he'll be concentrating just on the probes for now, and then looking to get out the army a little bit later on. So actually at this stage he's almost entirely undefended, and it's actually going to be quite difficult for him to really stop anything. If a mass amount of lings came in or any such like, he'd be entirely reliant on the mothership core to stop that, which does have full energy, so he could use the Nexus cannon thing to deal with that. Meanwhile, Biffhunter's building his army together. He's getting his second base out now, and he's actually pretty much ahead on economy here, as despite the relatively army-heavy build with the 4 gateways down and obviously all this tech coming out, we've got a second base coming down now as well, which is actually ahead of most of the others on the map here. I mean, the hatchery in the top left here, out of picture, is actually not quite as finished yet as Biffhunter. So yeah, Biffhunter is in fact ahead in economy, all things considered. Now, if we just check the drone counts on each one there, we've all got sort of a fully thingy line on each one. We're getting the layer now out of both of our Zerg players at the top of the map here now, as Biffhunter will be moving out. So we'll have to see what Biffhunter does here. It does look like he'll be moving up towards the top end of the map, and he's just going to crush through this lot, really, to be honest. As long as he can try and keep away and spread out away from the banelings, it shouldn't be too difficult for him whatsoever here. Now, meanwhile, Pitcher at the top left has got his few lings out the front, really, nothing too much else to talk about there, as we're starting to see a little bit more in the way of army building stuff coming out of Kunak here at the bottom left now. So we'll just stop and wait for this engagement now. And really, unfortunately there for copyright, he's actually moved all his lings out the way initially, so we might be seeing some micro and back away from these banelings here, as the lings have actually recalled there to come and deal with this Protoss army that was looking rather imminent there, although the Protoss Biffhunter will be pulling away, and it does look like he might be heading either back home or possibly for an assault on a different base there. No, he's going to be pulling down the bottom left-hand corner. He's pulling his mothership core over here, and we're actually seeing some Dark Templars now coming out of our other Protoss player here in the bottom left, Kunak. These will be moving over, just saying hello, as our other Protoss player Biffhunter is saying no to banelings in chat here. So we'll have to see if they can these 2 Dark Templars can get in and do anything, and it does look like the Kunak will actually be ignoring Biffhunter for now and probably moving away elsewhere with these 2 Dark Templars, as he's not confident enough to get in past any of this sort of thing that's going on here. He's not actually got any vision out, so that would have been pretty much all right there for Kunak to have moved in, really. But never mind. It's all good. Now we're seeing an extra 5 gateways coming down here out of Biffhunter to accompany the 4 he's already got, so he's planning just basically mass aggression at this point in the map, it would look like. Meanwhile, Pitcher's building up a little force at the front of Copyright's base, and I think we'll be seeing an engagement here very soon, as both armies are poised and ready to engage. Now, in this circumstance, a lot of it's about the micro, really. The Banelings are absolutely lethal to this sort of army, and if they're allowed to connect, then all those things will just die, and the roaches will follow suit pretty swiftly, as I completely said there. So that's the end of that force there. That's the end of that force there out of picture here, as copyright does move out again. It does look like we've got a ZVZ going on at the top of the map and a PvP going on at the bottom, although the actual engagements are very few and far between with these players now, as copyright will be once again moving into Pitcher's second base here, killing his queen off, and these Lings should be able to do a shit ton of damage here, as Pitcher doesn't really have anything in the way of troops of his own. He's got a few Banelings coming in as well, which are all going to just be wasted on... wow, well that was possibly the least efficient Baneling trade I think I've ever seen in the in StarCraft 2. Now what happened there, basically the eggs have really high armor, so they don't take any damage from anything particularly, and throwing all those Banelings at a single egg is, well, fruitless to say the least. I mean, yeah, I suppose I've done a shit ton of damage to the hatchery, but it's just like, man, just, I don't even know what to say about those Banelings. If they just walked in here, like, if they just come here, imagine the connections. Oh, well, never mind, it's all good, as copyright will be getting out more Lings again, looking very good now. Biffhunter is moving out across the bottom of the map. He's got Stalkers, he's got Zealots, he's got a Mothership Core. What else do you need? Gateway units. Let's do this. Now, behind this Biffhunter is getting out a double robotics facility, and as well as the ground weapons level 2 upgrades. This should be quite good. He's pulling away the Stalkers there, letting the Zealots tank the damage, and now we should be pretty much seeing the end of our Protoss player in the bottom left here, as Kunak doesn't have anything at all to deal with. I mean, he's got 4 or 5 gateways down now, but he hasn't actually built an army. He's just gone and got out 2 Archons, really, which is pretty much it. We've got a couple of DTs in the back, but they're not really going to do anything like enough DPS to be able to deal with this army that we've got here out of Biffhunter now, as the Zealots will be gradually dying off, and we're seeing pretty much the crushing here of Kunak in the bottom left hand corner of the map here, under the sheer weight of Protoss from Biffhunter. Now, I mean, it might be that we're actually able to clear this up with the 4 Dark Templars that he's got. I'm not... Yeah, it does look like we'll be getting through that, so that is actually much better than I thought it was going to be. It's a shame there's no real vision there out of Biffhunter, but I might not have noticed the Dark Templars until it was too late. However, he will be able to just sit on top of this for now until the Stalkers get their own damage down, and I think actually, yeah, we're going to be seeing the Mothership Core falling here as well, which is really unfortunate there for Biffhunter. I thought he might be breaking our Protoss player here, who basically just walked in a couple of DTs and won the fight straight up. Although, I mean, he did lose his second base. That has put him behind on economy once again now, while meanwhile Biffhunter's sitting on full base. He's got a lot of chrono boost available there, which I quite like to see going down on these upgrades and on these Immortals and Observers, which, God, if the Observer was out then, that would have been a complete victory then for Biffhunter, which is a real shame on his behalf, but never mind. Meanwhile, at the top of the map, we're seeing the 2 Zerg players do their best to get out second and third bases again. The second base of Pitcher is once again fully restored to working order. We've got a bunch of roaches sat at the front for him, nothing too exciting there really. Meanwhile at the top right, we've got Copyright here. He's got burrowed Banelings all over the front of his base here, so he's obviously scared of Lings. He's got a few Muters out, which should be doing some real damage pretty soon, and he's got a third base up and running, looking very good. Now he's still stacking a lot of gas for some reason. I'm really not sure what his crack is with this. I think basically he just needs to get his minerals sorted out. Because, well, even though he just doesn't have enough drones. That's his problem, you see. He just does not have enough drones in any of his mineral lines. 9 in your main, 3 in your second, I think 3 more, no, sorry, 10 in the bottom base here. I mean, yeah, he's still droning this one up, but there's just not enough drones going on there. He's probably got about as many drones, actually, looking at this as Pitcher does here. If we just have a quick look at the units tab, we can see who's ahead there. Yeah, so Copyright is actually slightly ahead of Pitcher on drones, but he just have a third base up, so he should be doing much better. And here we are, another 5 drones finishing up there now for him, so that's actually much better. So we should hopefully be seeing these mineral lines be packed out now as he's gone for double Spire. So that's actually a really good way of clearing the extra gas there, if you can get the air upgrades going much quicker, as well as building up these Mutalisks. Now, I'd really like to be seeing something being done with these Mutalisks. That would be nice, while actually Pitcher himself will actually be heading down the bottom left-hand corner of the map here to do some damage of his own with Mutalisks. And Kunak's really not had a fun game here. Now there's Mutalisks in the back of his base, taking out all of his probes, and, like, to be honest, what can he do, really? I mean, the DTs were all that saved him last time. He's got a couple of frontal cannons down. We've actually seen the Nexus cannon come out as well there, so that should be sort of pushing them back. But really all they do is just pull back, wait for it to finish, and just come back in and keep wasting the energy on that Mothership Core. So there's very little they can do there without there being a lot more Stalkers out now. We need to have quite a lot of resources in some aspects, considering how hard hit he's been. Like, he could definitely be chrono boosting out as many more of these probes as he could be, just getting them back onto these mineral lines. But no, at this rate, it looks like we're getting out the high Templars, going into more Archons, we're getting out the Zealots. It's all looking very good. Now, meanwhile, the bottom right corner, Biffhunter's got his third base out. He's gone back to being passive once again, just building up his bases, getting his armies going. It's all very good. We're seeing another base come down out of picture here now as all four players move on to their typical sort of 3-base strategies here, with Kunak just lagging slightly behind there as he's forced to probe up once more after so much assault from Biffhunter later and earlier on picture, with some Mutalisks coming in a little bit later on for that player now. Meanwhile, we're seeing not really very much in the way of engagements here. I'm just trying to have a little look around the map, see if I can see anything interesting now. There's actually copyrite's massive ball of Mutalisks will be moving out here. It looks like we're seeing some sort of mutant versus mutant engagement here as they once again come on the second base here of picture now, and they'll be just taking out all these drones. And let's see what picture can do in response here. Now at this point, all he's really got is the Queen, and we'll have to wait and see if the little army of Mutalisks that he's got is going to come up and do anything of its own. However, when he's outnumbered such as he is, 29 Mutalisks to a mere, what is it? What's he got there? 17 it was. There's not really much you can do. Now really, if you get these roaches just parked underneath there, they could have tanked some of that DPS and allowed the mutants of our picture friend here to stay alive slightly longer. Both are actually on the same upgrades, but it does look like picture's mutalist count will be dropping, and the mutants here of copyright will be, well, should be prevailing, although actually they're not going to, it looks like this is going okay now. Meanwhile, at the bottom corner of the map, Biffhunter has moved out again. He's got the Colossi now, he's got his Immortals down, he's also got the vision he needs for the Dark Templars, and Kunak's just completely left the game here, so this is just a stomping ground. We're seeing that be cleared up before too long. Meanwhile, Pitcher hasn't had much fun there. I mean, he did actually, I think, manage to beat off, he actually managed to defeat the rest of those mutants by eventually bringing his roaches in underneath to tank a bit extra damage, and that did somehow win him that little conflict, but we'll see how much longer that goes on for now, as Copyright has managed to build up a massive mutable once again here with his huge gas resource. Meanwhile, obviously, with Pitcher lagging behind in that respect, he's not going to have quite the same number of mutalisks. So if they have another engagement like that one, then I think we'll be seeing Copyright coming out nicely on top there, especially now as he's really getting all of his shit together here. We're seeing the Flyer Carapaces 2 coming out, all this kind of thing. We're seeing a Flyer Attacks 2 coming out of Pitcher, conversely, which is generally not the thing to do in Zerg v Zerg. You usually want the defense upgrades for Muta versus Muta Wars, is the sort of the done thing. Meanwhile, we're seeing some pressure here out of Copyright, so he'll be killing off the third base of Biffhunter. Biffhunter will have to pull his army back to deal with this, but unfortunately Pitcher is going to be suffering some damage of his own on the front of his own bases here if he's not careful, as the army of Pitcher will be gathering up at the front of Copyright, and Copyright will be having to deal with this now as the massive amount of links coming from Copyright here. We've seen the mutants move back up the map here, and it could be that Pitcher's actually missed his opportunity here to get in ahead of this. Although he's going to crush the ground army, that many mutants is going to just absolutely go through these lings and then be able to move up onto these roaches here at the top, as they're already getting damaged down by the burrowed banelings there, which is really unfortunate there for Pitcher, which if he'd managed to keep those mutants alive and just got a few more out, then he could have maybe come back from this. But like with that many mutants out, and also the 2/2 upgrades completely finished for them now, there's really not that much that our top left-hand Protoss player, Zerg player, could have done here. Now he's actually on double queens in an attempt to try and deal with this, but we're really not going to be seeing much more out of this player here, as the massive mutant ball here for Copyright will be moving in, and once again Pitcher is going to be losing this second base here, and there's not really anything you can do about it at this stage. No one's running to his aid, nothing's happening there, and that is really unfortunate. Now it does look like Biffhunter has actually managed to maintain this base here. He's got his little army together there, he's chased away the mutants, he needs more probes out, which he's actually chrono boosting out now, sensibly enough. However, it does look like that it is going to come down to Biffhunter and our Copyright player here at the top right hand corner. So the right hand side of the map has generally prevailed in this game, it seems. So if we just go back and look at this, we're going to see Copyright completely crushing the last of Pitcher's mutalisks here, and this will be pretty much putting Pitcher out the game here. Now, really, at this point is where, there we are, is where Biffhunter should be attacking, because if Biffhunter moves up now, then there's not really anything that Pitcher can do, as Copyright can do, as Copyright doesn't really have any forces of his own. I mean, he's got a few mutants hanging around, but that's pretty much it. He needs to be getting all these lava converted into a massive amount of lings that he could be having to get some sort of, well, just any units out just to try and deal with this. But when you've got this many Colossi out, God, there's just so little you can do with Mutalisks. It's really difficult. To combat this kind of army, I honestly, I don't really know what you're supposed to do, really, because like the Stalkers, I mean, the mutants are great against all these Colossi, and that's what they need to be engaging, but when you've got this many Stalkers just killing them off from underneath, there's just not much you can do, and I don't really see that there's any way that this Protoss army of Biffhunter can be stopped now at this stage, as the second base of our top right-hand player will be falling now, and while obviously Pitcher's well out of the game over there, it just absolutely looks like Copyright is even further out the game right now, as he has absolutely nothing in the way of bases left down. He's down his last couple of buildings, losing all his drones, and it looks like Biffhunter will be taking the game for a massive victory over the other four players there. Now, been quite backwards and forwards, and we are seeing a little bit of final pressure here coming out of copyright here, but with the sheer number of Colossi wandering around and that number of Stalkers to back them up to deal with the Mutalisks, there's just nothing really that copyright could have done there, even with his advantage on tech. Now we've actually got 2-1 plasma shields, and is that? Oh, sorry, I've got. Right, okay, we've got 3 attack, 2 defense, and 1 shield upgrade there out the Protoss Forge of Biffhunter here now, as copyright will be GGing out the game, and he'll be leaving, and once again Biffhunter being left victorious. So yeah, well, that's another episode of CasualCraft, guys. It's been a pretty good game. I'm not sure why the replay hasn't ended yet. I guess Biffhunter hasn't actually left. Yeah, no, that was pretty good. I'm hoping the quality's all right and there hasn't been any lag or anything silly like that. I'm going to have a good look at the video afterwards, edit it together, and see what I can be doing. But you know, like, comment, subscribe. It's been another great cast for CasualCraft, and I've been RedRipz, your Dreadlock caster. Thanks once again for watching, everyone. GG to all players. Cheers, guys. Thank you.